Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. This is day 55. I have done this. This is my third time, and I still had to look at the previous day's heart to see what day it was, even though I've said it 3 times in a row. I started over because I am failing at getting this flower petal to be on here the way I want it to be. So I'm going back to my original way of stitching it on here, and I'm just going to stick with that. I used a piece of paper, folded in half, cut out a petal, and that's what I did. I used the leftover fabrics from yesterday's flowers to cut them out of. Sorry. I have used 3 different stitches on this to try and get this to work. I had an idea for using different stitches, but it just wasn't working. And this is fraying a bit, so I'm just wondering if this is going to work. But anyway, if you try this, do what you want to do. Don't do what I'm doing, please. But I found this green fabric in my little bin of all the fabrics that I brought upstairs that I told myself I wanted to use. I mean, I'm free to go downstairs and pick out any other fabrics that I, either remember that I have down there or looking for something because of variety or whatever, or certain colors. But I didn't even realize I had this in my little bin, and it's perfect because it's leaves. So, and I'm hoping the light is okay because I tried to change my room around yesterday, like I mentioned in yesterday's video that I was going to try and do, and it just doesn't work because of where the heating and air conditioning vent sits on the floor, the outlet on the wall, and the cords I use are only so long, and my charger cord is really short because it's a quick charging cord, and I use my phone to record. So I'm sort of stuck in this corner, and then there wasn't anywhere to put the bin that I reach into, the rolling cart, the trolley, 3-tiered thingy I have, that I keep my threads in, and a few of the other things that I use, buttons and some of the other stuff. I couldn't reach it, and so everything went back to where it was, and I still only have the one light, so hopefully it's not too terribly awful to watch. I'm going to move you just a little bit so that maybe it'll catch the light a little better. Anyway, so I don't know if this is going to be very attractive by the time it's done, because you can see this fabric has frayed from me starting over 3 times. But anyway, hopefully if it's used as a patch, it won't fall apart in the wash. All these fabrics are washable. I think I've only used one thing that might cause a problem, and that was the dyed, little tiny bit of dyed cheesecloth I used when I made the heart on April 10th, which is Tony's birthday. And I wanted to use that little bit of cheesecloth, but that was dyed with the Tim Holtz dyes, and they are water soluble. So if that ever gets washed, it would probably come out a dirty white color, because I don't think they would set in there. Oops. Come on. I hope this finds you all well. I had to fight off a wasp this morning. That was ever so fun. Not. And of course, we have 9-foot, well, there goes that pedal point that I really liked. We have 9-foot ceilings. So one of our windows, the one in the dining room that we don't use as a dining room, it went into the highest part of the window trying to find its way back out. I don't like killing bugs, but you know, if you're in my house and you don't belong here, yeah, you're not going to live long here. I would not make a good Buddhist for that reason. But anyway, so I tried throwing a washcloth at it several times, but the washcloth was not going high enough. There wasn't enough oomph in the washcloth. It didn't weigh enough to get up that high to knock the wasp down. I had a fly swatter, but I am 5'1", and I could not reach it even with the fly swatter. Went and got a kitchen chair. I was going to climb on the kitchen chair, but Tony was outside and he was working on the van. And I thought, if I do something stupid and I fall, then he may not see me for a couple hours, because when he gets going outside, you know, he may not come in for a couple hours. He was cleaning the van off because of the pollen. He cleans the solar panel off and the windshield. And so I went to the door and I'm like, Tony, can you please come here? Really, like, kind of urgent, kind of short, you know, and then shut the door because I didn't want any more bugs coming in. And so he comes in. I said, there's a wasp in the house. Now, he's allergic, so, you know, we have to be careful. I get stung and it just hurts like the dickens, but he gets hurt, you know, we might be going to the hospital. So that's a little raggedy looking. Boy, I'm not happy with that, but okay. All right. And then I'm going to put that one, I think, there. And so I said, just make sure I don't fall. And I said, if I whack it and it comes towards you, it's mad and it comes towards you, just make sure you run the other way. So he's like, okay. So I climb up on the chair and I still couldn't reach because the window is an arched window. It goes to the top of the ceiling, and 9-foot ceilings and 5'1". So even with my arm reach and the fly swatter at the end of my arm, it wasn't reaching. So I waited until the wasp came to a lower part of the window and I whacked at it and missed. I whacked at it. I sort of hit him a bit, which just confused him and got him upset. But I missed. So I had to whack at it a few more times. And then it fell. And it hit my hand. It did not sting me, thank goodness. But it did whack my hand. So I got off the chair, and I'm not as graceful as I used to be. I mean, I'm almost 67. I used to hop down from chairs, hop up into the chairs, you know, stand on them to do anything, because when you're short, you know, when I was young, the only way I could reach anything in our kitchen cabinets like when I was a teenager, was to hop up on the counter. So I've always been that way, and very self-sufficient. Don't like depending on other people for anything. So Tony found the wasp on the floor, and thank goodness it, like, here's the air conditioning and heating vent on the floor. There's this much wall between the heating and air conditioning vent and then the wall. Well, you know, he could have fallen right into the air conditioning vent, but thank goodness he didn't. And Tony stepped on him, and because I didn't have shoes on, because I don't wear shoes in the house. I try not to wear shoes anywhere, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. Sorry, I swallowed wrong. Went down my throat the wrong way. So I got down from the chair, and Tony did the bug in, and I went and got a paper towel, and Tony went back outside and went back to work. So I had to put the chair back and throw the paper towel away, and, you know, put the fly swatter away, and went back to doing what I was doing, which was doing some research on the laptop, which is in our dining room because we don't use it as a dining room. And so anywho's, yeah, that was my excitement this morning. And they come in, we have glass sliding doors. We have 3 sets of them. One separates the living room from the sunroom. One leads out to the deck from the sunroom, and the other set leads from the bedroom to the deck. And last year, I would be sitting at the kitchen table, and I can see, I have a very perfect view of the sliding door leading from the deck to the sunroom. I tried doing this with a smaller eyed needle, and it just wasn't working. So just have to bear with me as I keep losing my thread. I do apologize. And I could see the wasps getting in between the solid, here's the slider, right? Slides over the solid one. And in between that is a screen. So what they do is they come between the solid glass and they get into the screen. So they're between the sliding door and the screen. And if you don't look for them, you don't notice them, you're not watching. I mean, we don't have time to sit there and watch all day, every day. That's where they get in. So last year, that did not catch at all. Last year, we had to kill, I think I killed at least 3 in the house. And I caught a couple between the screen door and the sliding door. You have to be very strategic about it. But Tony had opened the sliding door this morning between the deck and the sunroom, and I think that's where that wasp got in. So I don't know. Somehow my backs always look better than my fronts. Go figure. Anyway, so that was my challenge this morning. And I'm getting this done a little earlier than normal because I have some cooking I have to do. I have to Now I have to make sure I'm on the right path here because the angle has to be right. So I have to put these back around here. And I had these in a certain order, and then I messed up the order, so, you know. As you can see. All right, so that needs to go there. This needs to come up this way. No, that needs to go there. Orange, yellow. Striped over here. Pink over here. You want to do yellow over there. Okay. I wonder if I should just not overlap them and use less colors. One more pink. Maybe I'll do that and not use all of them. That might work better. Okay. Decision made. So I'm going to use pink on the pink ones. But this one has like yellow. I don't like this color right here. Maybe I'll just find a yellow. Maybe I'll just find a yellow, a plain yellow. I tried to do all this before I started, but boy, it's been a struggle today. Let me tell you. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're seeing right now. Hopefully it's just this and not me bent over. Okay. Don't slide. Please don't fall. Thank you. Oops. I think this is a variegated and it was in the wrong box. How did you get in the wrong box? I'll need some more of that. Okay. Anywho's, so we got the wasp taken care of. I need to soak some beans and stuff today. I want to make some quinoa. I had started eating all that stuff and cooking it myself, and I got lazy. Moi. And I started using canned. And canned has a ton of sodium in it. So I really should not be probably eating those, even though I rinse them really well. But you know, that sodium, it soaks in. Doing this one a little different. It's okay to be different. Better to stand out. What's the saying? There's a saying that I like. Now I've forgotten what it is. Anywho. I figured out that if I put a clipboard underneath my wool mat, I can clip that on. I don't think it'll stay. But then my legs are not irritated by the wool. I was using a pillowcase, but it was big. It was too big, and it was taking up too much room, and it was making my wool mat unlevel, and it was just being a hassle. So I decided that the pillowcase was not working. And I had to have a surface to draw. What was I drawing? The circles for those flowers. So that I did yesterday. So when I did that, I thought, well, just keep the clipboard in here with you. I try not to accumulate a lot of stuff in here. This is the bedroom. So I have a corner that I have the 3-tiered rolling cart in, and I have a small metal, like, outdoor patio kind of table, and I used to use it for my electric spinning wheel. And it's like knee height for me, and it's doing a better job of holding the camera arm than the other tables I tried, the other setups I was trying. And so I have that beside me, and the cart just on the other side of that. And then I have one other cart up here, but it has like a bin on top. It has a few books in it if I want to look up stitches. I don't use it as often, but I don't want to have to run downstairs for that stuff every time I want it. It has a couple of bags of lace in it. It has my bundles of fabric I've bought from Artistic Artifacts that I find too precious to use. I spend all this money on it and I don't use it. It has my new linen fabric that I haven't washed yet. It just has various things. It has a rope basket that I made that has a few finished projects, the wall hangings that look like snippet rolls. And it has projects to be done in it. So what's next? This one. I think I'll do that in yellow too. So I did the other one in pink. Okay. I just sewed the green fabric on with a green stranded thread to match. And Tony was out. He cleaned off the solar panel on the van. He washed all the pollen off the windshield of the van. Thought I felt something back there. That's not right. There we go. And then he decided to do a little mowing. I don't know if he did any weed whacking. The lady next door on one side, she had landscapers come, and they were mowing and blowing this morning. But thankfully, they weren't there very long. I was kind of shocked when they left. And then, but the problem with them is they don't try. They blow stuff into our yard. They don't blow it into a pile and then pick it up and take it away. They just blow it where it doesn't belong. like our yard or towards the golf course or whatever. But we don't complain because we keep our van in the driveway and we're not supposed to. And we don't want anybody telling us we have to move it and pay for storage for it, because we'd probably have to sell it then. For one thing. And another thing is people who put their vehicles in storage, they find their catalytic converters missing. And we don't want to find our catalytic converter missing because they're hard to get, because shortages, and they're expensive, and yeah. So if you have a motorized RV, storing it can be a risky. And from what I understand, ours has 2 catalytic converters. I don't know how. I'm not sure that's true, but I read that on the Facebook page for it, so who knows. Anyway, we don't want to run into that problem. So there's that. Nobody's turned us in yet, but it could happen. It could. Then we'd really be in trouble, because that's our vehicle when the car is being repaired, or it's our emergency vehicle if one of us is here and the other one takes off in the car by themselves. Like sometimes it's too hot or too cold for me to go to the barn with Tony, and he still wants to go, but he has to go alone because I can't do it. So I don't like to be here without a vehicle, just in case something were to happen. Like if something happened to him, how would I get to him? Or if something happened to me and I had to go somewhere. So we do use it as a second vehicle. We just don't want to lose that ability. And then the house that sold on the other side of us, lady caught Tony outside. We saw one person in the house a couple of times. And our nosy neighbor that lives the next house down from that, she admits, she introduces herself as, "Hi, I'm the nosy neighbor." Okay. They haven't been here as long as we have either. But she she told Tony the other day that she went over. Yeah, let's just do that. That looks okay, huh? Yep. May even leave that one out too. She told Tony the other day that she had seen a guy outside of this house next door to us, in between she and us, her and us, in between us, between her house and our house, the house that recently sold. And she had talked to him, but he wasn't very forthcoming. He just said he was a renter. So I guess when this lady who bought the house introduced herself to him today from her yard, from her driveway, she said that she's renting it out like an Airbnb. So it's like okay. Now, if I'd been out there, I would have said, okay, I want your number, your name and your number, because if somebody comes along and they're being stupid, I want to be able to call you. But he didn't think about that. He just, was trying to be like nice enough not to piss her off and turn us in for having a van. But yeah, so we kind of tiptoe around because of the van. But anyway, we're just hoping that this Airbnb thing doesn't turn out to be a problem. But she said they bought the house because it's going to be their retirement home, but they're not ready to retire yet. It's like, ugh, great. The more things that keep happening around here, the more Tony and I keep looking at each other going, it's time to leave. Problem is, we don't know where we would go because it ain't cheap out there. I tell you, rentals are up and apartments cost like $2,000 around here a month. Some of them more than that. Forget the 55 plus apartments. Can't even. And we'd be greatly downsizing. I don't know what I'd have to get rid of to have to move into someplace that small. So there's that. And it's a struggle. Can't afford a new house because prices are so out of whack right now, which would be great for us to sell because we'd get a lot more for our house than we bought it for. But so would everybody else who bought their houses, you know, and they end up not being, they're getting a lot more for their house too. Oh dear. All right. I will take care of that after. I'm not dealing with that at the moment. Nope. I'm not dealing with that at the moment. So give this a try. Let me know. If you give this a try, let me know. That's what I was trying to say. Come on. Wow. I am struggling here. This is actually easier than the ones I did yesterday, even though I've had my struggles with it. Seriously? Why aren't you even? And still, I like the effect it's giving me. It's a nice flat, flat surface. Oops. How's if you tie a knot? Oh, if you can't laugh at yourself, then you'll never find joy in this world. Holy cow. Oops. I am going to pull that threads from behind up in there. Okay. And when I go back here again, I am just going to tie this in the back and save myself the trouble later on having to rethread that needle. Come on. Whew. Tell you, this thread can disintegrate pretty easily sometimes if you're only using 1 or 2 strands. Could be because it's probably older than Sin, I'll tell you. I know some of my threads are very, very, very old because I've had them a very, very, very long time, and I'm very, very, very old. So there you go. Alrighty. Okay, a long way around. Oh, it's getting warm. Air conditioner just kicked on. Okay. One more. I mean, I have more, but I like it better without them overlapping. At first, I had so many on there, and they were all overlapping, and then I didn't like it when I went to add them while I was sewing them, so I thought, change of plan, because, you know, it's my project. I can do what I want. I'm kind of a rebel that way. All right, I'll get all these extras out of there. Oops. Oh, Martha. Nope, not orange. Pink. Yeah. That's why I threaded the pink thread. Big girl. All right. So I'm going to put... I looked for beads. I thought I was going to do beads in the middle. But I would have to go downstairs and get the beads. And I thought, maybe I'll do French knots or something in the center. Because, you know, I like the French knots. Well, the sun is still out. We're supposed to get storms this afternoon. Possible storms. Possible. Said we had a 1 on the scale of having severe weather this afternoon. But a lot of times the bad weather goes north or south of us, or it breaks up before it gets to the mountains, or as it gets to the mountains, because just west of us are the Shenandoah Mountains and the Blue Ridge Parkway, and we oftentimes luck out for the storms from the west, and we don't get it. We've had our share of bad storms. We had a derecho years ago. We thought the whole house was going to blow away. We weren't in this house. We were in the farmhouse. We thought for sure it was going to blow away just like the Wizard of Oz. It didn't. We thought we were going to have a bunch of trees down because we had over 120 oak trees on the property. And it did not harm any of the trees. There were some branches that came down, but the oak trees were okay. We were grateful for that because several of them were near the barn. The horses seemed to fare okay in it. Blue stood out in it as usual, and Bridget hid under the overhang as usual, or in her stall. So we survived it. And we've had tornadoes hit around us. In fact, one year when we were at the farm, I knew someone living here in this community, and they got hit really bad here by the winds. Like a tornado went right up Route 3, right past here, the main road that this community is off of, and did a bunch of damage. But we didn't get it hardly at all. I mean, we got wind, we got rain, but we didn't get near as bad as they did here. And this is only about, I don't know, maybe 5 miles, 8 miles as the crow flies, or the wind blows, from the farm that we used to be at. So there we go. You got this, Martha. Yeah. I actually like that a lot. I don't even mind the frilly stuff around the edges of some of the where the fabric is fraying, because, you know, gives it a softer look, I guess. So okay, and then I gotta decide what I want in the center. my very wonky center. So let's see, what am I gonna put in the center there? I'm looking at my threads. Oh, let's look at these threads. Let's see what I've got. No. Maybe I'll go with this yellow. I could do that. I think that's the closest I've got. I'm still looking around of a color I would put in the center there. I don't have any pinks or anything like that that I really like in any of my boxes. I do have this one. I could do that. I think I like the yellow. There's not a lot of yellow in here, and I think it'll brighten it up. How about that? That's not going to do me any good anywhere. You go in the orc can. All right, cut enough off to do some knots. Hopefully I can use this Kneadle. My Kneadle. Oops. So what did you do this weekend? Anything fun, different? What'd you make? What are you working on? And do you think you'll give this a try? I mean, as usual, I make everything look way harder than it is. You know? Way harder. I should be, you know, called the complicated crafter or something, because I make everything way more complicated than it really should be. But I like the effect of the different colored petals and making a colorful flower, kind of like the flowers we did yesterday. Way easier than that. Way easier. Come on. Time to untwist my thread. So I don't get knots before I get the knots made. Trying to avoid the knots with the knots. Yeah, that's gonna mess that up. Oh, not too bad. Okay. Hummers haven't been back. We saw the one Hummer. I saw the one Hummer. Tony missed it. But it was probably a scout or just a guy going north. And I'm sure we will have some of them show up soon. I think it's sad when my entertainment is watching hummingbirds while I'm eating meals. But, you know, it's the things we look forward to, so what are you going to do? Time to unwind. So I think I'm going to look for some Sashiko supplies. I know Artistic Artifacts has some, and I didn't buy any when I was there. Even if I just get the stencils and I don't get the proper blue fabric, I've watched people use the stencils and do the stitching on linen, on cotton, lighter fabrics, darker fabrics, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm not one to follow very many rules when it comes to crafting anyway, so. But I would like the stencils because then you know where to sew. So I think I might give that a try, just as a meditative kind of stitching. Then I don't have to think, you know, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? What color am I going to use? And blah, blah, blah. Just use white thread. Or if I'm sewing on a light fabric, I'll use maybe a black thread or something like that. Or my variegated threads. Who knows? I probably won't even get proper Sashiko thread. Probably just use whatever I have here, crochet cotton, whatever. But I might get the stencils and make it easier on myself. That didn't turn out as badly as I thought it was going to. I was like, okay, I've just got straight lines going across. Doesn't look like the center of a flower at all. But it worked out. Yeah. Yep, I'm good with that. This is one I would do again. I give this a 9 out of 10. I have to figure out how to sew those petals on. And I had an idea for another one, so I won't tell you about that in case I want to do it. But I would reshape the petals into a different shape. Let's just put it that way. Let me get the magic pen out here. The one I had to learn how to use. I haven't used this one before, I guess. 55. And I still tried to turn it off the wrong way. Okay, there we go. I like it. Do you like it? Let me know in the comments if you think you want to give this one a try. Not as hard as it looks, because, you know, I'm the one who makes it look hard. And you're not me. You're probably way more capable than I am. So, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That would go pretty on a journal cover, a jean jacket, as a patch, whatever. So, that's it. Thank you again for hanging out with me. Hope you got something done while you were hanging out with me. I love you, as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great one. Love you. Bye.